So we see that The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, that is the book, was written by British author Mark Haddon.
Let's learn more about him. It says, it was his first book and won him lots of praise and a number of awards. So wow, that's pretty amazing.
For a first go, yeah.
Yeah, the first book you write, a lot of people enjoyed it, and plus he got a number of awards.
So we just used the phrase a number of. He won a number of awards. We can use this phrase a number of to mean more than one or two. So it could be 4, could be 5. We don't exactly know. We use the phrase a number of like we use some or a few or several to mean that it was more than one, probably not more than 10, but we don't know the exact number. Okay, now since that sort of big first success, Haddon, we say since then, Haddon has written other books as well as poetry and TV scripts.
Wow.
Now here we use the word script, and a script is all the words for a play, for a TV show, for a movie. So it's all the things that the characters say, plus a few kind of directions about what they do, where they move, where the scene takes place. And it's that the actors learn, that's what they learn the words for, and that's what the director uses to figure out how we're going to shoot it all. But you can sort of call it the book for the movie and the play, but the correct word for it is a script.
Because of course it includes directions and
Yeah,
actions
and
as
yeah,
well.
and not a lot of descriptions of people and what they wear and what they're thinking, but a lot of words to what they're saying.
Next it says, however, he's never quite matched the success of his first novel. So we learned that yes, he's been writing other things as well, but this book that we read today was one of his most successful ones.
Yeah, it is his most successful one so far, and it is difficult to follow up on something that's that big and that popular, but hopefully he'll get a chance to do it at some point. Now, as we've been going through and talking about the main character and all the sort of problems and difficulties he has, then it's pretty obvious, as the article says, the most notable thing about the book is that the narrator is a teenager with an autism spectrum disorder. So remember, that means he has problems interacting with other people, he sees the world very literally, so he doesn't understand a lot of language and he doesn't understand the way other people think and are reacting and the things they say and so on. So it makes it very notable. It's interesting to read this kind of book. Now the word notable is an adjective and it's a characteristic that's easy to notice. So something is notable, it's easy to notice because of its quality or its special features, and because of this it's often noted and mentioned by other people. It's the sort of thing people will say, oh, this is good, this is the main point of it, we can talk about it, this is what sort of sets it apart and makes it easy for people to see it and say, hey, this is good for this reason.
And remember, Mark, he does not have autism, so writing it in that point of view was actually really made the story really special. So he, remember, the narrator of the story was someone who did suffer from autism. Now, a narrator is a person who tells the story, and they're basically observing the story from afar. They're not saying, oh, I did this, I did that. They talk
Actually,
about
no,
the
they
people.
are.
Oh, they
the
do
narrator
that
is,
sometimes,
the narrator is the...
There's two different
there
kinds.
are different ways of doing it. The narrator, you can sort of have an overall narrator, but you can also have a narrator who's doing the I went here, I did this. And they're called first person and third person.
That's right.
A first person story is the I, sort of thing like, I went here, I did this stuff, I saw this thing, I felt this. Third person is the, you know, Tiffany went here, Tiffany did this stuff, Tiffany felt angry, Tiffany felt happy. So that's the difference between first and third. There is a second, but it's you. So when you're reading, it says you do this, you see this, you walk here. It's not very common to see that in literature. It's very difficult to write that kind of book. It can happen, but you don't often see second person. Books you will read are mostly either first or third. Okay, so that's a narrator, the storyteller, and because he's got this disorder, we see in the article, this affects how he sees the world and reacts to people.
Next, it says medical professionals have handed it to Haddon for his realistic approach. So even people in, professionals, they say, wow, you did a really good job showing what it is like to have autism or showing what it's like for someone to have autism. Now, professional is just someone who does a job that requires maybe a really special training. You need like a specific kind of education or a very specific skill. And this is basically someone who is very, very good at what they're doing. For example,
and it's their main job, right?
Exactly.
It's what they're paid to do.
For example, we can say you shouldn't treat that broken bone by yourself. Instead, you should see a professional. You should see someone who is trained to take care of broken bones.
Yeah, an actual doctor or nurse or something like that. So a medical professional would be these sort of doctors and experts in psychology and behavior and other things like that. And these medical professionals, they hand it to Mark Haddon for what he did. And this phrase, to hand something to someone, this is today's shortcut for you. So let's watch our video to check out what it means and how we can use it.